So today I'm just going to talk about something that Tracy and I actually ran into. I'm sorry, not Tracy. Tamara and I ran into this past week. So we all know that now we're seeing more with all this commission change stuff that there will be times when buyers are going to be paying commissions, right? Typically in the past, that's not been the case. It's always been the seller. We assume the seller is paying the commissions for both sides, so we don't even worry about it. Most times the instructions to the closing attorney, which tells the attorney what you guys are getting paid, never gets sent to me as a lender. Same with the buyer broker agreement you guys sign with your clients. No one ever sends that to us. So what we ran into was we had a buyer that was actually paying 1%, and nobody told me, the lender, until after the CD went out, and then the buyer was assuming, okay, this is all I have to bring to the closing. And then we find out, oh wait, they're paying 1%. Luckily, this was a smaller priced home, so it was only about $1,000. It wasn't like, $1 million home where you're like, oh, by the way, you need another whatever. Yeah, so it worked out fine. It was USDA. We were able to roll it into the closing costs because the house actually appraised for higher than the sales price, and that's unique to USDA that you can do that. But what I wanted to tell all of you guys is now that things with the commissions are changing, let's make sure that you guys, when you send your contracts in to us or any other lender, but usually to us, right? That you send us the buyer broker agreement that you signed with your buyers, and you send us the instruction to the closing attorney. We need to have that stuff up front because that way we can go ahead, we'll know if the buyer is paying any of those commissions, and we can go ahead and put it on our loan estimates from day one on the commission side, because normally commissions, like I said, have always in the past been paid by the seller. So we don't put that on our CDs or on our loan estimates because it's all on the seller side. So we don't even see those numbers until after we've sent out our initial CD, and then the attorney sends us their CD, which has the seller's information, and then we go through the whole balancing. So that's why it's important now that you guys, especially if you know you have a buyer paying any commission, like when you send the email with the contract, big bold letters, buyer is paying 1%, 2%, whatever, so that we make sure we have it calculated into their numbers from day one, because we also have to make sure they have the funds for that, plus the funds to close. We have to verify all of that. So just make sure you guys are aware of that we need to have those two forms, because typically, like I said in the past, no one ever sends them to us because it's not really part of the loan anymore. But now that buyers are paying, it's very important we have that. So lesson learned last week. So that's why I wanted to share that with y'all today. So
quick question. So
yeah.
I know that we've talked about them rolling that 1% or 0.5% or whatever it might be into their loan. Is that
The only way you can do that, like I said, if it was, well, obviously refinance, there wouldn't be commissions. The only way to do that is on a USDA loan. It's very unique to that, and the reason we could do it in this case was because the sales price was $92,000, but the home appraised for $97,000. So only on USDA, that if it appraises for more, you can roll some of the closing costs into the loan to have the buyer bring less to the table, but that's unique to USDA. Had this been a conventional or FHA loan, I would have been like, hey, you got to come up with another $1,000 by next week. So we got lucky on this one, but it was just a lesson learned.
Any other loan, then that's not possible. So then it's out of pocket for them. And the extra. Okay.
Yeah, and they should know obviously from the documents they're signing with you up front that they're going to have to pay this. But this was a mom helping out a son situation, and she wasn't aware of what he had signed, and there was just some confusion. So she wasn't aware of this. I wasn't aware of the 1%, so it wasn't in all the estimates I had been sending him. So me and my processor, we didn't know that there was that 1% responsible from them. So we want to make sure you guys are like big bold letters to the lenders. This is what's the buyer's paying, buyer's paying, so we can make sure it's in the estimates from day one. So everybody's covering their butts. Okay? All right, that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.